CTV News at 5 with Hudson Mack.
Another protest to tell you about tonight, the one to try to save a 300-year-old tree in Saanich. It has come to an end, with the towering Douglas fir coming to the ground in pieces. Emotions ran high as the neighbors in the 10 Mile Point area in Cadborough Bay gathered to watch crews cut down their beloved Dougie fir. They had gone to court last week to seek an injunction against Saanich, but it was denied. The municipality says the tree is infected. It needed to come down. But the people who live in the area insist that the tree could have been saved.
Feeling pretty emotional. It's hard when you're asked to work with your council and work with your elected representatives, and when you do and you try to reach a concession that it doesn't matter.
For me, it's very painful. This is an important part of our neighborhood that's being destroyed. This tree has been here much longer than this neighborhood.
The core that I've seen now, which is about 4 feet above the crown base of the root, looks healthy to me. What I expected to see is a softness in the core. What I see is a solid piece of wood here.
That's not what Saanich sees. It reviewed the arborist's report on the tree and concluded that if the Douglas fir was allowed to stand, it could put lives at risk.
Well, it's a high target area. As you can see, a bus has just gone by. There's lots of traffic. There's homes that are in the target zone of this particular tree. These are unpredictable, so whether it's increased wind coming up, the soils will soften as the rains come, and there's just a number of factors. And as I say, the trees are ultimately unpredictable. Healthy trees come down, so it's best for us to take one down when we know that there's an issue at the base.
Well, the judge who ruled Friday that Saanich could legally remove the tree also said the municipality could bill the opponents for legal costs and staff time. Saanich hasn't said if it intends to do that. Live power lines came crashing down onto a cement truck in Langford this morning, and the driver was trapped inside. He had been backing up to drop off a load in the 3200 block of Walford Place when he struck a temporary hydro pole. The pole and the wires came down onto the roof of the truck, and the driver had to stay inside to stay alive until BC Hydro could cut power to the lines.
Well, the potential was the hydro confirmed that there was no danger given the type of lines that were on top of the truck, but under different circumstances it could have energized the truck and it could have been a different outcome. But in this case, he was actually safe.
Driver wasn't hurt, nobody outside injured either. As soon as hydro crews de-energized the lines, the truck was able to safely pull away. Victoria police are looking for a would-be carjacker who threw a 65-year-old woman to the ground. It happened on Friday night. The woman had just opened the door to her vehicle after parking on Vancouver Street between Johnson and Pandora. When a man outside the vehicle pulled her out, slammed her to the ground, he tried to steal her car, but couldn't figure out how to get it started and ended up running away. The woman was shaken but was not badly hurt. The would-be carjacker got away. Anyone who has information on the crime is asked to contact Victoria Police. The needles came out in Saanich today, the first public flu clinic of this flu season. It was held at the Les Passmore Centre in Saanich. The Vancouver Island Health Authority offers free flu shots to anyone in a high-risk group, and that includes seniors, as well as pregnant women and young children.
Young children are much more at risk from from flu virus. They're much more likely to need to go into hospital because of pneumonia or infections, and so it's really important that we protect them. And as adults, we protect them by immunizing ourselves.
For more information to find out where you can get your vaccination and whether it'll be free for you, you can visit viha.ca. A Vancouver Island man is being held in a jail cell in Israel, and his family is calling on the federal government to intervene. Jim Manley is a former member of parliament, now an activist, arrested on board a ship that was trying to break through Israel's blockade of Gaza. Manley was on board the vessel the Estelle with a number of European legislators and pro-Palestinian activists when Israeli troops boarded the ship. The 79-year-old wanted to draw attention to the struggles of the Palestinians in the Gaza. His family is appealing to Foreign Affairs in Ottawa to help free him. The vessel was reportedly carrying aid supplies when it was intercepted and diverted to an Israeli port late last week. Salt Spring Island man who names Omar Khadr in his will says he experienced significant backlash since going public with his bequest. 84-year-old Jack Hallam set aside $700 for Omar Khadr's education in his will, but he says he might be willing to increase that amount in the future. Hallam is a gay atheist and says he does not believe that Khadr would approve of his lifestyle. But he says the Toronto-born man was treated badly by the American and Canadian governments during his time at Guantanamo Bay. And as a fellow Canadian, this is the least he can do for Khadr.
I've been giving to disadvantaged people, people that have suffered, and I thought I would like to do something for Omar.
Khadr was imprisoned at Guantanamo Bay for 10 years. 2 years ago, Khadr pleaded guilty to 5 war crimes, including murder for throwing a grenade that killed a U.S. soldier in Afghanistan. He was 15 at the time, sentenced to another 8 years in custody, but he was allowed to return to Canada at the end of September to serve out the remainder of his time under a plea deal. The Nanaimo First Nation will soon see a pulse of fresh water pouring into its community after more than a decade of having to truck it in. Crews are breaking ground on the new water main project near Cedar Road. That project will allow the city of Nanaimo to pump clean drinking water to the reserve, where it has been scarce. Until this point, drinking water has had to be trucked into the community because of contaminated groundwater and old wells.
So the city, in conjunction with SFN, has worked together, and we will be providing water to IR2, the First Nations property right across the street from and very near the landfill site on Cedar Road. And they'll have potable water available right on the land and this is a very important event for First Nations. They're very pleased and proud. Pure, clean drinking water is absolutely essential for everyone, but in this particular case, because of the challenges they've had before, they are particularly pleased that.
The Nanaimo mayor says once completed, the water main project will cost about $500,000.